NightCap recap. What up, players?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. The NightCap recap is here for you. Specialty Media up on Instagram. You know where the original channel is. Spitball and Sports as well on Spotify for those that don't want to follow on YouTube. We get it. You got a lot of options out there. Jim Biringer, Teddy Repantis, and Lefty. We know things, right? Do we know things or do we know things?
Oh, Jimmy, it's great to be alive here on a Tuesday night after a 49ers shocking win in the wild card round, recording the NightCap recap with you, and we do know things. First, I want to point out Sourdough Sam is right behind me. Thanks to you, Jimmy, a great 40th birthday gift. Finally, in the background here, I got my Niners icons over here. I got the George Kittle jersey. We did it for George Kittle. We're going to talk about that, but the big pressing news of the day is Mike Tomlin stepping away from the coaching as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, something we discussed as recently as last week on this program, and something that you said, Jimmy, the Steelers don't fire coaches. They mutually part ways or they step away. And what happened? We called it. You called it, Jimmy. We're always right here.
Mike Tomlin steps down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Look, again, I will say, as I repeated on Twitter, as I've said on this show, the New York Yankees can take a lesson from what the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles have done throughout the years. Besides the offensive coordinators, I'm talking about the time Andy Reid had there before he got fired and left and then went to Kansas City. We have now John Harbaugh leaving the Ravens. Now we have Mike Tomlin leaving the Steelers, though he's still a part of the organization because they have his rights. So if he wanted to coach next year, a team would have to trade for him and then acquire a package to get him. So his rights are still there. However, the Steelers, they don't fire head coaches. Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to Mike Tomlin to somebody else that will be there for a while. But the issue is, for me, is the last decade under Mike Tomlin was just trying to stay above water, be 500, just to be above 500 and get in the playoffs. And then you lose in the first round every time. And you just don't lose. You get killed, like, every time. Like, the team wasn't good all year. And if the Baltimore Ravens could have beat the Steelers or done their job along the way, I think they're still losing at Houston just because the defense is just too good. But they got shellacked by Houston.
Shellacked is not even the word, Jimmy. It was not even a competitive game. Although it was 7-6 going into the half, it was kind of a 7-6 blowout, if you will, because Pittsburgh was not able to do anything offensively for the majority of this game. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, like all these guys on the Texans defense were making Aaron Rodgers' life a living hell. And then the 2 defensive touchdowns later in the game, and that sealed it. C.J. Stroud played very poorly. He had 5 fumbles in this game. He was lucky that he didn't choke this one away. Things could have got away really bad if the Steelers could have done anything on offense. So Stroud is very lucky that he was carried by this defense. But absolutely, and you said it, the last decade, the last 4 times the Steelers have been in the playoffs, they've been absolutely uncompetitive. They've been beat down and haven't made it a game at all. Poor T.J. Watt, a great player, one of the best of his generation, of the current generation, is 0-5 in the playoffs, unfortunately. And that's because Pittsburgh hasn't put out a competitive product in the playoffs, despite the wins in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just getting back to 500. It's 9-8. It's 9-7-1, or it's, at the time, I believe when the 16-game schedule, they were like, I don't know, 6 or whatever, 9-7. Like, it was they're okay.
It's the definition of NFL purgatory, right? It's kind of like, it's not where you want to be. Like, you as a Giants fan, there's been a lot of losing. Maybe you would trade places with the Steelers just to be like, hey, we're at least winning and being in the playoffs. But as a Steelers fan, and I know a couple of them, they're sick of it's the same story every year. We get just above 500. We think we have a chance, and we get destroyed in the playoffs. And then we have a mediocre draft pick because it's later in the first round, and there's not much you could do. You want to either be on either end of the draft, right? You either want to be really bad so you have really early draft picks, or you want to be winning and going deep into playoffs, kind of like what the Niners have been doing the last couple of years in the NFC side of things.
Obviously they picked Kenny Pickett high, but before that, Ben Roethlisberger was high for the high draft pick for them in that. And I was listening to something the other day. John Elway's talking about quarterback classes, and he always will say his class, and I think we all can agree the 83, I believe the 83 class with Marino, Elway, and Kelly was probably one of the best quarterback classes of all time. But he mentions the 04 class with Eli, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger. Eli, obviously, and Phillip switched from 1 and 10, but he was drafted number 1. But Ben was right behind both those guys. And the Steelers picked him, and they put him in right away, and he was really good. They need to scout. They need to get another head coach in there that has, I don't want to say pedigree, because Tomlin really didn't have a pedigree. He was just on Cowher's staff, and he was promoted from within. But I think he
was a defensive coordinator for Minnesota as well.
Yeah,
well, he was with Dungy. I think he was with Dungy at one point.
Yeah, it was Dungy's coaching tree too. But I'm saying they found their guy and then they just ran with it. But again, it's mediocre. It's not good enough. Like, it's okay. You have to change sometimes with the team. And now they have to go in a new direction because they tried to go all in with Aaron Rodgers this year. They brought DK Metcalf in. DK Metcalf, what a bad game, too. Too many drops, man. That could have changed the game big time for the Steelers. But stay on Tomlin for a minute now. Now you're going into a little bit of a rebuild. You're going to probably be bad. You're going to be in the Cleveland and the Cincinnati territory right now. But that's okay because I think the Steelers need that.
Well, look, Mike Tomlin, and this was an interesting stat, right? 3 coaches in the last, 60 years, whatever you want to call it, of this franchise.
Like 1969 came in, and then a Cowher, and then
and then Tomlin.
Yeah.
And what did those guys have in common? They were all under 38 years of age. Yeah. So the Steelers keep their coaches for a long time, but they also start them out relatively young. So as you look out into the pool of coaches, look for the guy for them. I expect them to go relatively young, under 40 probably, maybe more offensive minded. In today's NFL, I think you need that because Arthur Smith, his offensive schemes were uncreative. He was not that good when he was the head coach of Atlanta. It was not creative there. He came to Pittsburgh, a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, not mobile enough, no creativity, not enough playmakers. You need to go offensive-minded. You need to go young. Guys like Shanahan and McVay, who are now right behind Andy Reid in playoff wins and active head coaches, all got signed when they were in their mid-30s. Right? They were some of the youngest head coaches when they started. We're almost a decade into their tenure now, and they're still young. So look for the Steelers to go young. This is just how they do things. It's how they operate. They're going to turn Tomlin, his rights, into a lot of draft picks. So whoever goes to this team is going to have I think it's an attractive job because it's a cornerstone NFL franchise. You might have, like you said, a couple down years, but it should be a quick rebuild because I think this is a team that still wants to maintain that credibility of being one of the best in the NFL. So look for a young head coach to go here. I don't expect a veteran guy to come in here. That's why talks of Mike McCarthy, John Harbaugh, I think they're going to go young, maybe inexperienced.
A guy like McDaniel goes there?
Yeah, McDaniels is a guy that fits the bill, right? That's a guy, but maybe they're going to be shying from that because of what happened in Miami. It seemed like the players were kind of not playing for him near the end, although they kind of put up a fight for him. This year, I don't think his message reaches the players as well. So look at the history of a Cowher and a Tomlin.
I'm just throwing this out here just for fun. What about a guy like Raheem Morris?
That's a guy. That's another guy who's early 40s, right?
Yeah.
A guy that we thought played himself into staying in Atlanta got let go. He turned things around there. And he's had some stints here as head coach, and he's done relatively okay. He hasn't gotten to that next level. If you're bringing a Raheem Morris, then you're going to need a good offensive side of the ball, like a good coordinator. So I look for the Steelers to kind of go younger here. And here's the thing: when they get their guy, this is going to be the guy that for the next 15 plus years.
Yeah, because they don't fire coaches. Because if they did, Tomlin would have been gone probably 5-6 years ago.
And the report said that Tomlin apparently was putting feelers out that he might have been thinking about walking away last year. He just wants to get away from coaching. I can understand why. It's about 18 years straight of just like off season after off season. You get into the playoffs, it wears on you. He's probably just needs a quick break, probably take a year off. He's got TV offers from the rumors that I've heard that if he wants to do that, I don't think he's going to do that, but whatever happens after this,
paycheck, it keeps him in the news. It keeps him relevant.
Yeah.
Like,
whatever happens after this, wherever he goes, he's going to be a coveted guy to any team that has an opening in 2027.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw it coming. We all knew it was coming. Again, we talked about it last week with the Harbaugh situation. It's like he's going to wait it out. What teams are going to make coaching moves? One more before we transition, because I know that it'll be brought up again when we talk about the divisional round. But this Matt LaFleur thing, man, 48 hours later, and they're still not done with a contract extension.
Yeah, I mean, the word is that supposedly that will get done because Jordan Love and Micah Parsons both vouched for him. That's your two cornerstone pieces of your franchise. It seems like they're willing. They don't want LaFleur to be the lame duck coach. He's got 1 year left. So if anything, I think I only expect maybe a 1 or 2 year extension on this. I don't expect like a long-term deal. I get some people think he should be out, but it seems like that the players want him to stick around. And the Packers aren't a team that do this too often either.
No, but again, with the coaching carousel, with the names out there, if this was supposed to get done and it's not done, it just, the players are. So if the players are behind it, this should have been inked yesterday. Like,
oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
the more the days pass, yeah.
It should have been inked on Monday when the reports came out. Like, even Schefter's saying it shouldn't be this hard. We know what the money is. Is there something behind the scenes? Like a team like Green Bay who usually has everything in order. This is usually, if you want to keep your guys around, this is usually, okay, we're done. Like, it's usually done, announced, we're going. That's why I think, like, maybe Green Bay may be looking around, see maybe they get a Harbaugh interview, or maybe, they talk to Pittsburgh to see if they can bring in a Tomlin if he wants to coach this year. Like, something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just something isn't right, smells right in Green Bay, because we heard that Miami was going to keep Mike McDaniels for the next year. He was going to be, and then boom, once Harbaugh was announced, he was fired. It was, okay, that changed the game plan. So I'm just interested at that situation, to be honest, because I've seen this too often in National Hockey League. Like, Bruce Cassidy was, they go into the offseason, they had all the meetings, season's getting close, and then they change coaches. It's like, but I thought he was your guy, and then he wasn't your guy. So I just think if there's a name out there and the Packers feel that they can help their team, I think they'll look to inquire before making a move.
I could see that, Jimmy. They're definitely going to look around, that's for sure.
All right, so with all the coaching stuff out of the way, we'll talk about it a little later. Let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. Big win in Philly. What a game. We said it last week. Clips are up. Go find them. We told you, don't underestimate the 49ers. When injuries, the back's against the wall, underdog, that's when they come out and play their best game. Again, they did against the Rams. We both said no chance. That first Thursday night game, and they killed the Rams. Like, 49ers going to Philly, redemption game for that NFC Championship game. But this is what happens when you have your quarterback healthy and you're not relying on third stringers. You got Jennings throwing the ball to CMC. CMC is healthy. Defense played really well, I thought, like really well, despite no Fred Warner. Niners knock off Philadelphia. And again, offensive coordinator issues. Team's not right. Offense looks stale, redundant. It didn't look like the high-powered offense it was last year. Again, kids, pay your assistants. Just straight up, just do it. But kudos to the 49ers for putting up a huge fight. That might be their only playoff win of the year, but kudos to them for shocking the world.
Yeah, Jimmy, and it might be one of the best playoff wins in not only recent memory for this franchise, like ever. And it's not hyperbole, because this team, you just said it, defensively, we were playing linebackers that were just signed to the team about a month ago. Kendricks was with the team since November. The other two players were off the practice squad of other teams, had to come in there and learn Salah's scheme pretty quickly. And, hey, kid, you're off the couch? All right, let's go to Philly. You're a starting linebacker for a playoff game. Let's see what you got, right? And you got to give kudos to Robert Saleh for having these guys ready to play. A lot of players, rookies, guys on the D-line that haven't played too much in a regular season. Hey, kid, yeah, you've been out there in our practice squad all season. I know you've gotten a lot of reps that way, but now we need you to come in here and start and make a play. And those guys, let me say something. I mean, Barkley started out this game pretty hot running the ball. And I don't know why the Eagles got away from it. I was talking to Drew about this, and this is the issue with the Eagles all year. I should have listened to you, Jimmy, when you said, hey, listen, the Eagles have been inconsistent this year. As a Niners fan, I was not feeling great about the matchup because it looked good on paper. All you got to do is give the ball to Saquon Barkley. He's going to find a way to recapture the magic from last year. And it looked like it was going to be that way early on for the Eagles because I think he had almost 80 yards in the first half, and he was popping out about 4.2 yards a carry. And then I don't know what happened after that. They just decided to get cutesy like they have all year. Jalen Hurts, missing guys. A.J. Brown, for all the talk all year, 3 big drops, getting in fights with Nick Sirianni on the sideline in the middle of the game, and Tom Brady bending over backwards trying to pretend like there was nothing going on. Oh, these guys have a great relationship. Why are you yelling at your player? You know what I mean? In the middle, clearly there was issues. That led to the Niners having the ability, although Brock had those 2 interceptions, he overcame that and led another game-winning drive to Christian McCaffrey, that touchdown. I mean, this team just gives me agita every year, Jimmy. I was texting you about it. You saw the footage of me watching the game-winning touchdown, and then I had to sweat it out on the final drive. I mean, it seems like a yearly thing, but the key word here for these guys, resiliency, Jimmy, resiliency. I'm sure you could probably compare this to something in hockey where a team that's got a ton of injuries, expectations are down, not expected to do well, but somehow overachieve and push through injuries. George Kittle, who I got his jersey over here, pour one out for George Kittle, the tequila, torn Achilles, unfortunate, the heart and soul of this team, my favorite player. You see him go down in the second quarter. Somehow you're able to overcome that. That's a kudos to Shanahan, to Purdy, to McCaffrey, Jennings, everybody. All year long.
All year, man. Like
all year long.
Like every year the injuries. Like every game there was injuries. This guy goes down. That guy goes down. What was it? The first game against the Rams. Like they had like nobody in the game. Like Ricky Parasol was going off. Like I mean, it was ridiculous how they had like nobody in that game and they still won with Mac Jones as a quarterback.
And that's why Shanahan. I know it's probably going to be Mike Vrabel, but this is his best coaching job that he's ever done. And I think he deserves. I'll go on a limb here. He deserves whatever kind of extensions every single year. I know he hasn't brought a Super Bowl yet, but I think with a guy like him, I think he's going to get one eventually. Whether it happens this year or not, because the team might run out of steam, that's one thing. But I feel like, look at the game plan he put together against this Eagles team that he planned ahead of time. And if you watch Dan Orlovsky's breakdown, he talked about how that play, that Jennings trick play, was set up a couple plays earlier with some other plays that they ran. So he is such an offensive-minded genius that I think with him behind the controls, it doesn't matter. I mean, yes, you need talent, but I think coaching-wise, this team is always in the fight with Kyle Shanahan, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to remember when he gets into that situation when he's up big in the Super Bowl.
Run the ball.
Just run the ball. Like, just run a damn ball for anything. Like,
and now – yeah.
And just 1 point on the Eagles. Just 1 point on the Eagles. We said it all year, though. Like, again, this was the issue with Baltimore. They got away with the run game. Try to get pass happy. Like, Saquon was killing it last year. I just don't understand why you weren't ground and pound the whole game. Like, he was breaking 80 yards. Like, I remember the first game against the Giants, he had like 60 yards on like 4 carries, and he just went away from him. I'm like, why are you getting away from the run? That's how it sets up your pass game.
It seems like the Eagles all in this game and all year long, they played kind of like a team that were like, oh, we're going to turn it on at any moment. What do we got to worry about? And they went into the MetLife Stadium and Scadaboo and those guys in Dart beat them. And it was kind of a wake up call, like, oh man, we can't just sleepwalk through games. We really have to actually try.
Because it turned it on.
Yeah, it was like we were waiting all year long. we never really saw the 2024 version of the Eagles this year. Completely different. And maybe that's just the malaise of, hey, you won a Super Bowl. You think you could do it at any time. And the Niners sense that, ripe for the picking, perfect timing. I mean, kudos to everybody on the 49ers squad. Shanahan, like I said, I think he's one back of Bill Walsh in playoff wins for the franchise history. That's incredible. He's currently tied with McVay for second most playoff wins for active head coaches. They're both behind Andy Reid. And Brock Purdy now is right behind Pat Mahomes in game-winning playoff drives in the fourth quarter and to win games. No other QB has more than Pat Mahomes. Brock Purdy's number 2. He's got 4 in his short career already. I mean, what can you say about Brock Purdy anymore? I don't want to hear game manager anymore. And listen to this. The greats manage the game well. I don't want to hear he's just a game manager. He's Mr. Irrelevant. This guy actually goes out there and gets it done and wins game. Ice in his veins. Tom Brady even said it. He's proven himself. He is the guy. I don't want to hear anymore, oh, Mac Jones this, Mac Jones that.
Mac Jones may not even be there next year.
Yeah. Well, they should keep him because
you can't keep him.
Yeah, we can't also – you can't stress enough what he meant to this team this year. You already said it. He won half their games this year.
I wouldn't trade him. I don't care what you're giving me. I need a backup quarterback that could work this system, and he did, and he proved it. Niners, great win. Philly, just another flop like they did, and it was a couple before they won the Super Bowl. Offense coordinator now fired. Again, kids, keep your coordinators. Just life lessons. We'll keep teaching me here at the NightCap recap. I mean, Kellen Moore, we cannot stress enough how much Kellen Moore meant for this team. Like, I don't understand why. Look, we saw it in Detroit. We keep bringing up Detroit with Ben Johnson and those guys, right? They kept it one more time just to run it back. You're the defending Super Bowl champions. You had an offense that was clicking. No one could stop you. You keep Kellen Moore to run it back one more time, and if you don't win a Super Bowl, then you let him go this offseason.
Absolutely. Well, they're going to be on the search now. Patulo's gone. Listen, these Philly fans out there that were throwing bottles at Niners fans and talking smack all week, this is the matchup they wanted. You got the matchup you wanted, and what happened? The Niners came in there, and you lost. And I'm proud of this.
You went into Tampa when we were out on the Monday night at Rock Bar. Shout out Rock Bar in Clifton.
Yep.
Same situation. I heard a lot of Eagles fans saying, "Oh, we could beat Tampa. Don't worry about it." And you and I both said Tampa's going to beat them. And look what happened.
I'm not going to brag. I'm just going to say I'm proud of this Niners team. This is one of the most fun years I've had watching. Yeah, we've had the Super Bowl runs where the team was dominant, and I felt very confident. There was times this year I'm like, these guys could just pack it in and call it a season. Like, what are they fighting for? Like, it's not even worth it. And every single time they prove me wrong. I'm so happy they proved me wrong, and they were resilient enough to come through and win these games. Now it's a monumental ask. We're going to talk about in the divisional round to go to Seattle and win. So whatever happens here on out, I've said it. It's house money. You're just going to take it one game at a time, and this is a resilient bunch. Philly, I'm sorry, you're out of here. Get out of here, Eagles. Go home. Go to Cancun.
Look, Seattle's going to be a tough team. We'll preview the divisional playoffs in a little bit after we get through this. But heart and soul teams, resilient teams that played hard, playing for playoff lives. If I'm Seattle, I don't want to take this game lightly, even though I just beat them. And it's not like you murdered them. You beat them 16-3, and Sam Darnold didn't play well.
Right? So, and Sam Darnold hasn't played well when he's played the Niners. So, let's see what happens here. If the Niners can take advantage of maybe one or two scoring drives and the defense can keep it low scoring, maybe we'll have another exciting game on our hands.
Right. So that was a great game. Kick things off Saturday, Rams and Panthers. What a great game that was. Unbelievable, right? That was awesome. That game was crazy.
Panthers almost shocked them.
Panthers almost beat them again, but the Rams figured out a way to get it done. Bryce Young had a great game. Matt Stafford, good game, hurt himself. But the Rams figured out a way to get a stop and win the game. And their offense was electric as always. If their defense can stop guys, they have a team.
Oh, absolutely. I was just surprised that I thought the Rams again would go in and just dominate this. And these last 2 weeks for the Rams with the Cardinals and the Panthers, I mean, look, people want to just like crown them and say they're the best team. We've seen some kinks in the armor here. We've seen where they can be beaten. In Carolina, Bryce Young did everything he could. He took the go-ahead touchdown. His defense couldn't get stopped. So Bryce Young was able to go down and score and get the game-winning, what would have been a game-winning touchdown. It just didn't work out that way. You had Matt Stafford on the other side. So to me, it's like, hey, look, the Rams can be beaten. And I think they're going to have their hands full going at Chicago because the weather's not looking great. And I threw out a stat a couple weeks ago on this program about McVay and Stafford when it's under 45 degrees. But I'll say this, kudos to them for finding a way to come down there. Puka Nacua had another hell of a game. These guys offensively, when they're clicking on all cylinders, they're damn near unstoppable. But this game kind of just like set the tone for what we had for the rest of the weekend, because how about this record for the NFL Wildcard Weekend? 12 fourth quarter lead changes, most in playoff history, and we're only one round into the playoffs. That's what kind of weekend we had with the Wildcard Weekend. Much like we said, this was an exciting season, and the parity reigned supreme.
Right, and the first 4 games of Wildcard Weekend were absolutely outstanding.
Bonkers. Yeah.
Outstanding, because why we bring up Matt LaFleur earlier is because his team was up 21-3.
Yep.
And lost.
And lost.
They were up 27-16 in the fourth quarter and lost to the Bears 31-27.
Unacceptable.
This is why I bring up the point about Matt LaFleur, the contract extension, the team looking it over. Do we really want to run it back? Do we trust this guy in the fourth quarter? Look, give shout out to the Bears. My Bears, they played really well. But again, Caleb took advantage of a defense that didn't play well. The Bears didn't look great early on. Similar to kind of like the first matchup when they played that night when we were out for your birthday, Packers in control, and then they just let it slip away. Caleb can do this. This is the magic that he has. And
the Iceman.
I mean, look, he had 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 361 yards, but that's what you're going to get. They were able to use their tight ends. They were able to use their running backs. Ben Johnson and company took advantage of a team that didn't play well. But that's no excuse for what the Packers did. And look, when your quarterback is clean, 24-46, 4 touchdowns, 323 yards, Jordan Love probably played one of his best playoff games, and they lost. That's a problem.
Yeah, and a lot of it is because also the conservative play calling. After Jordan Love made some big throws to get the Packers into Bears territory, they decided to go back to the zone run with Jacobs, and he was just getting shut down. If you notice, when the game came back in the second half, the Bears got a quick 3-and-out on the Packers immediately, got them off the field. That set the tone for the momentum swings we saw. They were able to shut them down completely. The Packers couldn't do much. Yes, they were getting up and down the field, but they weren't scoring because the Bears were shutting them down. So that's a testament to Chicago, what they've been doing all year, right? I mean, how many one-score games, how many comebacks have these guys done, with Caleb, the Iceman, they're calling him now, Ben Johnson? I mean,
that's a little much. That's a little much for me because I'll be honest, it's one season. He's putting together a season. He's shutting up the critics a little bit. If he can continue it next year and he can continue these fourth quarter things, but as we see in NFL, you win one-score games, the pendulum can swing the other way the next year.
100%. We saw this with Jaden Daniels, right? The Commanders were the hot team. So if you want to be a team that sticks around, you got to do it more than one season. So this is great that we're seeing this. And Caleb maybe finally is maturing a little bit and coming into his own. That fourth
but he's got to limit the turnovers. Yeah.
That 4th and 10 or 4th and 15 throw to Odunze, where he literally was rolling out to his left and had to jump throw it, feet off the ground, throwing it across his body to complete that, because the game was pretty much over if he doesn't complete that. That's a hell of a big-time throw for Caleb Williams in that situation. But that's
inexcusable on the defense for allowing 4th and 15.
Absolutely. Packers just choked this one away, an epic all-time
and that's why to
choke.
me, Yeah, while the defensive coordinator is probably going to take the fall for this, that's why you have to question Matt LaFleur as a head coach.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Jim Foote will tell you the same thing. He was telling me immediately, and Dino, both of them texted me and said, hey, sick of this. We got to move on. Because that's another team similar to the Packers. They've been a 7 seed for the last 3 years and been eliminated. Yeah, they had that one win over Dallas, and that's
Dallas
their one.
stinks, man.
Yeah, that was a bright spot
in the playoffs. They stink.
Right. That was their one bright spot. They knocked off a 2 seed Dallas. Other than that, they get to the 7 seed and they lose every single time. So It's the same situation.
Right. So we'll see what happens moving forward in Green Bay. But kudos to the Bears getting it there. Still have home field advantage. Got the Rams coming in. That's going to be a big one in the divisional round. How about Bills and AEW Jags? I thought this was a great way to kick off your Sunday. I will go to it. I'll say it again. Point of emphasis on the show. We had the alert button in here. Put it around the box. I'll put a box around that says, take the points. Take the points.
You had me write this down, Jimmy.
Like, this is a bullet point. I cannot stand it. I understand these young coaches and these coaches love the analytics and this and that. But then you look at yourself and you say, oh, we could have been tied going into the halftime if we took this field goal. Maybe we would have been up 7 on the Bills, making them get a touchdown to tie the game. Like, to me, if you're in field goal range, take the points, especially early in the game, because the Jags were stopping Josh Allen. The defense was coming up big. Your defense was holding them. You were going to go up 10-3. I just don't understand that play call. Yes, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't get touched by the defender, it's a first down. I get it. A, it's a horrible play call. B, I'm being conservative, and I'm taking the points there because my defense is playing well. You got to feel the game. Everybody's watching the game, and you're like, the Jags defense is holding this Bills offense here. They're giving them problems. Why would I let the Bills back in this game? And what happens? They go down the field and score.
Right, and those 3 points would have came in handy near the end of the game, right? I mean, that's exactly right, Jimmy. Take the points. I'm always with you on that because things can shift so quickly, especially in this era of the parity that we're having this year. Like, Josh Allen engineered his first game-winning playoff drive, which is awesome. He played big. He had about 4 different injuries in this game, and he stayed in there. A true Iron Man, if we do say so ourselves. He's a guy that avoided a major injury, and I thought the Jags really were going to pull this thing out with Trevor Lawrence late, and then he threw that interception immediately, and kind of just that was it. That was a killer.
He did not.
Yeah, he didn't.
He did not. So, real quick, I'm looking at the box score. So, 4:03 fourth quarter, 24-20. You have those 3 points. The Bills tie the game. So, now all you need is a field goal to win the game. Or you play for overtime.
Right. Just imagine. Imagine you had those 3 points right there.
Just saying, take the points, man. Always take the points. I get it. Like, I was watching Small Field. Somebody had something on Twitter today from the 90 divisional game played in 91 between the Bears and the Giants. And, like, the Giants went for it on 4th down, like, 4 times and made it. But, like, that was a different game. Like, Parcells was feeling the game against the Bears, right? But to me, in a game like that, when your defense is playing so well to start the game, I don't understand giving momentum to a team that didn't have it.
I totally agreed, especially when it's the Buffalo Bills, and we know what he's the best quarterback that's in these playoffs right now.
The best quarterback in the league, let's be honest.
Yeah, and let's be honest, he really is. So the Jags, I mean, they had it right there. I mean, they had such a great year, and I felt like this could have been a game for them. But Trevor, you're right, did not have a good game at all. That, like, similar to what he's been doing the last 8 weeks, that kind of went away.
I think it was the first couple of plays or early in the first quarter, Trevor threw that interception.
Yeah.
But the Jags defense held the Bills to 3. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Okay, Jags defense comes up big here. Short field for the Bills. Your defense comes up big, holds them 3. Okay. Then the Jags score to make it 7-3. It was quick 3 and out or turnover, whatever it was. You have, like, your defense is playing well. Feel the game. Like, okay, we'll take 3. We're going to give them a long field, but our defense is playing well.
Yeah, you're nailing all the points on the head, Jimmy. I just don't understand it. Maybe that's Liam Cohen, just the bright lights, wanting to show out here for his first playoff game, and just he's going to learn from this because I think the Jags are a team that will be sticking around.
I think they're going to hang around, man. I think
especially in the division.
They took major steps this year offensively. ETN to run the ball with him. Trevor took steps. They have a really good defense. Good defense.
Travis Hunter will be back next year.
Jags, sky's the limit for the AEW Jags.
Absolutely, the all-elite Jags. Let's say that, look, yeah, they lost here, but they're going to be a team that's going to be sticking around for the next couple of years, especially in this division.
And you got to Jags lose before you can win.
Exactly. Kudos to them on a great season, but it's just Buffalo's time right now.
Buffalo's time, and maybe it's New England's time. Look, we mentioned the Texans game already in the thing. Will Anderson Jr., that pick by Houston. The kid was a stud at Alabama. He was a big reason why they won a national championship. I think he went second to Houston during the draft.
I believe so, yeah.
But he was a stud at Bama at the Crimson Tide the year they won the national championship. Like, he was everywhere on this kid, unbelievable. Like, I love Will Anderson Jr. That defense in the Houston, man, they are going to give. They're in New England, right?
Yep, they're going to New England.
They're going to give Drake May fits.
I'm excited to see that because it's going to be the first time Drake May. We could touch on that Chargers game real quick. The Chargers just, again, the Patriots defense overpowered that depleted Chargers offensive line that has been their issue all year long.
But again,
Chargers didn't take the points early. Could have made it 3-0 to start, and I
know it's only 3-0, but it's just setting the tone. You're taking points on the road on your first drive,
especially when you recover a turnover in the 10-yard line of your opponent that you come away with 0 points. I mean, right there, I could have told you they're going to lose the game when that happened. I mean, you got to get something there.
The minute I saw they didn't score, I was like, game's over. Patriots are winning.
And I'm shocked because that's uncharacteristic, I feel, of a Harbaugh team. With the Niners, he was big on always taking the points. The Niners had a good field goal kick.
In Michigan, too. Didn't matter if they didn't
He always
score.
took the field goal. He always took the field goal.
Set the tone. Because I thought the Chargers defense actually played pretty well.
So maybe this is why Greg Roman got let go. We heard today the Chargers are parting ways with their offensive coordinator. It's a guy that Harbaugh's been with in his run with the Niners and up to this point with the Chargers. So maybe it was his call. Harbaugh could have overruled him, but didn't take the points. Drake May came out a little flat, only had the 1 touchdown pass, but then made enough plays, and the Patriots D smothered. Herbert couldn't do anything, had a couple turnovers. Chargers just need to come back healthy.
But the issue is in this game, and I guess we can get into this divisional look around
so
here.
Texans are going to give them some issues, I think.
Defensively, but C.J. Stroud's got to protect the football. He cannot have 5 turnovers like he did against the Steelers. He cannot do that. The Patriot defense is really good, but if he's going to have 5 turnovers, then the Houston Texans are not going to win the game. I don't care how good their defense is. They're not winning the game.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting battles of I give the Pats the edge offensively, but I give the Texans the edge defensively. So that's the matchup right there. Drake May versus that defense. That's going to be the key to the game. On the other side, you're right. CJ Stroud can't turn the ball over. Be careful with the football. Pats D, we saw what they did to Herbert. They're capable of playing big-time football and they're one of the top defenses this year.
I feel like this could be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, it's going to be this is going to be a grind it out
game. This feels like a field goal game.
Yeah, we're going to get to halftime 13-10, and whoever gets the ball next.
I might not even get there at halftime.
You might be right. It might be like a 10-7, right? A 7-6. And this is going to end on a who's going to get the ball last.
It's going to be an old Big Ten football game. Just ugly, in the trenches, ugly game. Ugly game.
And look, this is why the NFL is great. You're going to get your high-flying, high-scoring games, and you're going to get your in-the-mud games. And this is going to be Drake May against his biggest challenge thus far this year. And the Texans D, what can they do? Can they carry this team? Because their offense ain't pulling their weight.
No.
So It's going to be I'm excited. I'm really excited for this
We
one.
have seen defenses carry teams to championships in the NFL, though.
And Peyton Manning's a prime example. His last year with Denver was carried by his defense. I know Peyton Manning's one of the all-time greats, but he didn't do much. Yeah, he didn't do much that playoffs. He didn't do anything.
No, because Von Miller and company were just dominating everybody.
Exactly. So I'm excited for that one. Lock that in as that's going to be like a slug fight right there. Slugfest.
It could be ugly. It's just going to be ugly football. Let's stay in the AFC for a minute before we switch back. Bills, Denver, if you talk to any Broncos fan, this is the team they don't want to see. They do not want to see this team. Bills defense is playing really well. I think it could give Bo Nix and Denver some troubles. I know Denver's defense is good, but we saw what Houston did. We've seen what Jacksonville did. Jacksonville beat Denver's D up pretty well, beat that offensive line up pretty well. And again, Josh Allen in the playoffs. Bo Nix, this is a big challenge here. You're getting Superman. If you don't put this team away early and you let him stick around, this could be the upset in the AFC that I think could happen.
I agree, because I think the biggest test for the Bills, we said, was going to be the Jags, the first round. Can they get past that game? When they get here, this is a rematch of last year's playoffs. The Bills beat Broncos. The Broncos were the 6th seed. It was flipped. Broncos were the 6th seed, and now Buffalo's got to go into Denver. The only advantage Denver's going to have here is, look, they're playing at Mile High, right? The elevation, is that going to be something? Bills lost 2 receivers to torn ACLs, but guess what? This is a team that's lacked receivers all year long.
Josh Allen's does whatever he wants.
Does it with anybody, like the tight ends, whoever you want to throw out there. So you're right. This was not the matchup Denver wanted when they got the 1 seed. And New England, I feel like New England kind of got lucked out getting the 2, because they got to see the Chargers, and now they're playing an offensively depleted Houston Texans team, although the defense is good. But if I'm Denver, I'm kind of like, well, what the hell? Like, they were hoping for the Chargers or something like that. So I agree. I think Josh Allen, those guys found something.
And I'll be honest,
long day.
I'll be honest, Denver at home in the playoffs, when they have like a bye. Look, I know what Elway did. We saw what Peyton has done. But New England has gone in there under Brady. Fun. Teams have gone in there and won. I'm not betting against Josh Allen.
I agree. I thought Denver, I kind of picked them to go to an AFC title game. I'm not feeling good about it now. I feel like Josh Allen and the Bills are rolling now, and they're going to go in there and they're going to make this a game. They're going to make this an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's go. So that's the AFC picture. Let's go to the NFC picture. Obviously, we talked about it. We got 49ers, Seahawks, third time, like we had Bears and Packers, third time. The rubber match of the season, this time in Seattle, 1 seed. We know what this is. It. Look, it's the rivalry in the playoffs that goes back to the Richard Sherman days.
It's the Richard Sherman Bowl.
Yeah, like we know what Seattle's like in the playoffs, but that was a different team. That was when RG3 and Legion of Boom were rolling. Again, their defense is good. They can get help from the 12th man. 49ers are going to have their, earplugs in. They're going to have to use different signs on the sideline so they know how
Silent count. Yeah.
But on the other side, and the question's been asked about him since the final week of the season, what is Sam Darnold going to do with the Seahawks? I talked about it with some guys on Sunday when I was reffing. Every team has flaws. Every team has a weakness. You can pull up questions about everybody in this thing. Everybody can say, oh, Seattle can go all the way. Oh, but it goes back to the quarterback. Like, to me, Sam Darnold has to show me that the first part of the regular season, he can do it in the playoffs. Because I know what Brock Purdy can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, good point. Been there, done that, proved it. Sam Darnold last year, same situation. Had an opportunity to lock up the NFC North. Detroit came in there and beat him up, and he choked. All right, go on the road as a 5 seed into the playoffs, and with a 14-win team, lose to the Rams. And he did not look relatively good either. So if this is the year that we're saying Sam Darnold's taking the monkey off his back and proving the naysayers, because we saw he got the 1 seed with the Seattle Seahawks. Didn't do much in that game, but still great season. You got to do it in the playoffs. Let's see what you got. If the Niners can get an early turnover, a pick six, like a tip pass, I'm not expecting sacks.
The doubt come in.
Yeah, the doubt. That's what we need to see. I know the Niners are not good at getting pressure and getting sacks. That's not going to happen. Let's get some tipped passes for a defensive touchdown so the doubt creeps into Sam Darnold's head, because we've seen it with the Jets. We've seen it with every time he's played. When the doubt creeps in, he sees ghosts. That's what needs to happen, because Seattle has the playmakers to definitely, score on the 49ers defense for sure.
Yeah,
it's going to be all on him.
49ers D is depleted, but,
Yeah. And the Niners are not going to have it easy again. Look, they were held to 3. And that was a combination of CMC with dropping the pass right before going into the end zone. And there was a couple plays there that were left open.
Take him out of the line, out of the plays. So
who? Oh yeah, they were good at shutting down the run. McCaffrey couldn't get anything going on the ground, and Parasol wasn't there to stretch the field. So Parasol hopefully is back finally this week. And look, we saw what DeMarcus Robinson just did to Philly. He was stretching the field for the Niners. So the Niners have to use all those guys in different ways. And without Kittle, Robert Tonjes is going to have to step up. He's been good when Kittle's been out this year. Look, we're not going to gain back.
Lighting the world on fire, but
yeah, we're not going to gain back what we lost with Kittle, but the other guys can step up. But we have to take advantage. The Niners have to take advantage of possibly short fields on turnovers and score. 3 points.
You gotta get 7.
If the Niners can hold Seattle under 20, there's no excuse as to why they shouldn't win this game.
I'll say this: you have short fields, you have to get 7, but I'll take 3.
Right. Correct. Yeah, always take the points. And I like Shanahan did that against Philly. I don't know if people noticed. He took the points. He had his offense out there on a 4th down it was like they were right outside the red zone. He decided to take the field goal there, and that was key in the game. So take the points when it's there for you. Not going to be easy because Seattle has a great coach now, and that 12th man is going to come into play.
Yeah, they got so many weapons, but I think it's going to be a good game. These two teams don't like each other. Again, I'm watching Darnold because there's something in me that still doesn't believe that this Seattle team's going to win this game, because I think
I hope so, Jimmy.
Battle tested. They're battle tested, man. Kyle and Shanahan. Look, I know they're getting shafted a little bit short week, but at least they have the late game. At least they have the late game on Saturday, so it's not as bad. But
the Niners were in this position in 2021. They beat the Dallas Cowboys as a 6th seed going into Dallas, and then they played the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay on a short week and beat Aaron Rodgers on that blocked field goal, 10-7. I think it was 13-10 was the final on a Robbie Gould field goal. So it's not territory they're not familiar with.
No, I just say a little birdie. I think there's always a seed of doubt when it comes to Sam Darnold. So
let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens. And obviously Rams going into Chicago. Game's not weather looks like absolute crap.
Freezing temperatures, it sounds like.
Maybe some snow. Could be a snow game. Doesn't bode well for the Rams. Don't bode well. I think Chicago might win this game.
Yeah, this is why I think Chicago has a chance. I was going to say, look, if it was a neutral thing, the Rams might run up and down the field because their Bears defense just is not consistent enough. But if the weather plays a factor, I think the Bears certainly have a chance in this one. And I think Caleb can do some things. If Bryce Young was able to score touchdowns on the Rams defense, there's no reason that Caleb Williams can't do it either. So I think the Bears actually have a good shot here, Jimmy. If the weather impacts Stafford's finger, we said his finger's jammed up or hurt, and they're able to get a couple stops.
On a game-winning drive, he hit the guy's helmet. So on his throwing hand.
The Bears got to implement the ground game here. We need to see Swift and Monangai established here, and that will set everything up. Colston Loveland came up huge against Green Bay. I expect more of him against the Rams, too.
Yeah, again, we always say, I feel like every year we say divisional round is always the best round.
But it usually is.
I don't know. Wildcard Weekend was really good.
I was going to say it's going to have a lot to live up to. I think we might have just had the best round. We'll find out when the playoffs end how it all shakes out. But the excitement we just had with these games on this past weekend, divisional round's going to have its work cut out for it. And let's hope we get 4 really good games.
If not, at least 3.
Yeah, let's get a couple good games here. Three out of four. We're not asking for a lot.
No, we're not. I mean, but you got a lot to live up to because 4 out of 6 of the games on the weekend were really good.
Yeah.
Real quick hitters before we go over to college and some other news and notes and items that we like to talk about here. John Harbaugh still out there, obviously. Mike McCarthy taking interviews. Brian Daboll took an interview down in Tennessee. I don't know about that. Stefanski taking interviews.
Jimmy, what do you make of the news that Tom Coughlin reached out to John Harbaugh personally to vouch for the New York Giants job? Once a Giant, always a Giant, right, is what John Mary always says. So what do you make of this at Tom Coughlin? They're pulling out the big guns, the full court press to get John Harbaugh in the building and signed. What do you think about this?
I like it. I mean, Coughlin is like Harbaugh, right? Like, that's the coach the Giants need. I told you that they were going all in. This is what it means to go all in, but you got to get a formal interview. You got to get him in the building, and when you do, you can't let him leave the building. This is the coach the Giants need for this group because I believe he can get the most out of all these guys, especially Abdul Carter, because early on in John Harbaugh's career, that Ravens defense was nasty. I know they had Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and all, but even when those guys left, the Ravens defense was still good. So
yeah, they're always good. Yeah,
they're always good. I think you can get the most out of these guys, and I think the fact that Coughlin was in there and like quickly turned around things, I think you get a guy like that in there, and you got to do it. I think the Giants have to get Harbaugh.
I agree. And look, they interviewed Antonio Pierce also. Like, if he doesn't get, he's not going to probably get the head coaching job.
That's the Rooney rule, right? Like, I don't want to come out and say it, but that was a Rooney rule.
Yeah, but look, like a guy like Harbaugh, if he wants, could bring in a guy like Pierce to be his defensive coordinator.
I have nothing against Antonio Pierce. I thought he did a great job with the Raiders, and I thought he was a defensive coordinator because I think they need a guy like that, and you need those legends around this team.
Exactly.
But you can't have Antonio Pierce.
Can you imagine Antonio Pierce getting those guys, Carter, Burns, all get the motivating those guys? I feel like it's the perfect fit on the defensive side of the ball. Will Harbaugh do that? I don't know. He's got his own guys, but that's what I could see Pierce doing, more of a defensive coordinator role. How about Mike McDaniel? The interview with the Detroit Lions. If I'm Dan Campbell, that's the guy I want to bring in for my offense. That's the guy.
That's the guy. Like, you bring Mike McDaniels in, that's your offensive coordinator.
And Philly should look at him too. The Eagles should look at him also.
That's what we mentioned it before. I think that'd be a great hire.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if McDaniel just has his sights set on another head coaching job. If that doesn't work out, I think he's going to be a good offensive coordinator for whatever team decides to hire him.
I think he's just look. I think there were some years in Miami that they were good, but they underperformed.
Yeah.
The Cole Tua situation, like, maybe they should have gone in a different direction with the quarterback, play calling. Maybe he just needs to take a step back before he takes his next head coaching job and prove that he still can be an offensive genius that he was when he was hired by Miami. But I think, like, anybody would want his services as an offensive coordinator because he is very, very smart and talented.
Absolutely. Look, now that we have all these coaching job vacancies,
how many coaches are
9.
out there?
I think it's 9 openings now for final count, I believe. Yeah, so there's a lot of openings and a lot of guys getting interviewed. It's going to be interesting to see where these guys end up.
Yeah, so real quick, obviously, look, college football semifinals, really good. We got Indiana smoking everybody. Like, the best team in college football. More on that because I'm going to do it around campus. Podcast set you up for the national title. They'll play Miami. That was a great game that they had with Ole Miss. I don't care what anybody says. Redemption for the Hurricanes. Football guys looking down on them after that Ohio State BS flag that happened years ago in the national championship game. No pass interference on the last play. And I'm going to quote my uncle here. If you let the referees decide the game and you blame the officials, a flag or whatever, you weren't good enough to win that night. Ole Miss, too little, too late against the Hurricanes. Cannot wait for this game. Kirk Cignetti, Indiana, most complete team in college football, because if Miami's going to pull the stuff they did against Ole Miss in the first half with dumb penalties, mistakes. Indiana will blow the doors off of them in the first half, and this game will be over in the first half. It could be 28-0 because you saw what they did to Bama. You saw what they did to Oregon. They take advantage of turnovers, and Mendoza is lights out.
Yeah, and I'll just add my quick opinion. I am a casual. I don't watch a lot of college football. I've been locked into these playoff games since you told me which games to watch. These semis were really good. And yeah, I mean, Mendoza's impressed me. I think he's looking like a Sunday guy. You know, I'm not one to know like will his skills translate, but he's looked really good. So I'm going to be locked in for this, and these playoffs have been exciting to watch. So kudos to the college game for stepping it up here and having good games.
National championship goes next Monday night down in Miami. Miami's got a home game, but the Indiana crowd will be there. Real quick, last item. Shout out Drew Mack. New WWE champion. I love it. The right decision, by the way. Go find one of the episodes way back when we were talking about it. Drew Mack needed to win. This was the right call. NightCap recap. Again, we're predicting it. I could go down a list of things that we got right this past year so far and everything. So, to me, this is what look, shout out to Drew Mack for winning because I think this is the right decision.
Agreed. Would have been a complete joke if he didn't win this title. Would have hurt him as being a legitimate main event player. And I think Cody also had a hand in being the one to say, hey, Drew Mack should win this. So good on him too. And whatever they go from here, we're in Rumble season, we're in Mania season. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have something new and fresh with a new champ. So I'm happy for that. And before we get out of here, Seton Hall, ranked 25 now, playing UConn tonight.
I love it.
Yes. Pirates are making waves in the NCAA Big East. So let's see if they can go dancing this year.
I hope they can go dancing. And also, I cannot wait to see CM Punk versus Finn Balor for the title.
Oh, that's a dream match.
Dream match. Cannot wait for that. So
well done with the storytelling on that.
Yeah, and now Finn Balor just needs to have his proper singles run.
Absolutely.
So, guys, we just did a little potpourri, a little run to hurry up at the end for you guys here on the NightCap Breakcap. Again, NFL heavy. This is what we do. It's always NFL heavy this time of year because it's going to be winding down, and then we get into wrestling and all the other stuff, off season, all the fun stuff. But, guys, thank you for tuning in. Follow along Special Team Media on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. Enjoy the fun. Jim Biringer, Teddy Repantis, guys. Take care.
Bang, bang.